But stop meal planning. Seriously, stop. There's a better way. And today, I'll show you how. Hey, what's up? I'm Andrea, and in today's video, I am going out on a limb. I am sharing why rigid meal planning doesn't work and what you can do instead. If you're new here on my channel, I share easy, real-life ways to feed your family well without losing your mind or blowing your budget. So if that sounds good to you, go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below. Make sure you also tap the bell icon so you get notified when my next video goes live. Okay, let's jump in. But before we do, I have a question for you. Have you ever looked at another mom who looks like she has it all together and felt like a total failure? I know I have. I remember early on in my parenting journey, I had two little kids at home, and I would see these other moms who had their dinners prepped, and they had these beautifully plated meals for their kids, and I thought, I want to do that. And so I spent hours on a Sunday putting together what I thought was the perfect meal plan, and it was all color-coded for everyone's preferences, and I matched it up to our schedule. And then Monday arrived and one of my kids got sick, and the only appointment at the pediatrician's office was 4 p.m. And so by the time we were done that appointment, the kids were hangry and we just went through the drive-through. And so there goes Monday night. And then Tuesday we had a park play date and we ended up staying later than I thought. And once again, everyone's hangry, and we ended up ordering pizza that night. And then on Wednesday night, some friends contacted us and asked us out to dinner, and that sounded way more fun than making the chicken stir fry that I was planning to. So we did that, and by Thursday, the groceries that I had ordered and the veggies that I had pre-chopped were becoming science projects in the fridge, and I felt like a complete and total failure. So if you've ever felt like a failure, know that you're not alone. I thought the problem was me, but the problem was the plan. Okay, so why does traditional meal planning fail? Well, number one, it doesn't take into account real life. So I had a pastor at church who used to say, "Blessed are the flexible, for they shall not break." Life as a mom requires a certain amount of flexibility. I mean, we have a plan, but the most important part of any plan is to plan for the plan not going according to plan. We are not 100% in control of everything that happens to us during the day. And so we need a certain amount of flexibility built in. A rigid meal plan doesn't account for that. Number two, it leads to food waste, which then leads to guilt. You know, when you waste food, you're really wasting money. And when you waste money, you're wasting time. That money represents time that you or your husband spent in the workforce earning that money. And so there's a tremendous amount of guilt that goes with that. Number three, it takes something that should be joyful, like eating, sharing a meal with your family, and it turns it into a chore. So yeah, rigid meal planning, it doesn't work. What does work instead is a flexible framework. So how did our family get out of the pitfall of rigid meal planning? Well, we started with a flexible framework. We started developing a list of family favorites. Over time, we developed a list of recipes that are simple. They don't require a ton of ingredients. They use mostly shelf-stable things. So, if the plan changes suddenly, we're not leaving groceries in the fridge to rot. And there are things that I know the kids like and that don't take a ton of time and that I've made a bunch of times. And so I can kind of do it on autopilot. So I would encourage you to develop your list of family favorites. Start with 5 and just keep them on a rotation. That definitely can simplify the meal planning. The other strategy that really helped our family get away from rigid meal planning was I got really into freezer meal prep. I learned about this from another mom. I've done several videos on this strategy, but it is an awesome strategy. Number one, it saves time, and number two, it really reduces, if not eliminates, food waste, because your meals are in the freezer, and if your plan changes and you decide not to use them, it's no big deal because they're still in the freezer. So we use a combination of family favorites and freezer meals to put together a flexible meal plan that really works for our family and allows for adaptability and flexibility. And it has just really, most people would look at it and they wouldn't necessarily think it's a plan, but it works for us. So what do you think? Does traditional meal planning stress you out too? Drop a comment down below. Let me know what your biggest pain points around meal planning are. I'd love to know, if for no other reason than to know I'm not alone. And hey, if you enjoyed this video, if you found it helpful in any way, then you're really gonna like this one right here. It is the exact meal planning routine that we're using right now that actually works in real mom life. So I will link that so you can keep going and make dinner even easier. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I'll be back next week with a brand new video. Until then, I'm Andrea. Bye for now.